Welcome to the session. Can you hear my voice? Anyone can confirm?
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay. So good evening to everyone. We are here to learn about Git and GitHub. So this will be the first session about Git and GitHub, and we'll be having another session tomorrow. Uh, so let's just wait for one more minute to join everyone, and then we can start. Created their GitHub accounts. If anyone has not created yet, they can ask any if they have any doubts. So creating a GitHub account is quite simple. Like you have to go to github.com and then create using email ID, or you can create using username as well, like you create any other account. So let's start then. So let's learn how to use Git and GitHub and getting started with open source for giving it back to the community. So today's agenda will be introduction to Git and GitHub. What is the use and importance of Git? Hands-on session with Git and GitHub, and then summary and what to do next. So what is basically Git? Git is a software for tracking changes in any set of files, usually used for coordinating work and among programmers collaboratively developing source code during software development. So let's say there's a company and thousands of developers are working on a single project. Let's say Twitter. So in building Twitter, thousands of developers must be working, right? So how do they collaborate, and how do they work, and how do they like code and code for the same code base, and then there is no conflicts between them, right? So they must be using some software. So Git is basically a version control system, and you can use Git to control your versions of your project or your repository. So you can you can go back to the previous commits, or you can go to any commit, like any version of the project earlier. So let's say if you are developing some new software or developing a new feature, let's say, and you are getting a bug in that feature and that is in production, let's say, so that will be a huge issue, right? So you can one thing you can do is you can just work on the bug and then redeploy the that thing in production. Another thing you can do is use Git and deploy the earlier version that was stable, right? So this will become more easier to work. Like you will deploy your earlier Git version that was stable, that was working, and then you will work on the bug, and then you will apply that afterwards. So Git helps us in that. Git helps us to collaborate when working on a project. Let's say five of us will be working on same project. So how do we collaborate on any remote, like on the internet? How do we collaborate? So Git helps us in that. Okay. So what like Git and GitHub are different. Okay, Git is the software that we use to collaborate, and GitHub works on Git. Okay, GitHub is basically a platform in which we can use Git to collaborate with others. Like there's GitHub, there's GitLab, and there are many more like GitHub. Okay, so GitHub is primarily like the main platform where they are like the mass of the developers are there. Okay, so let's learn Git commands. First of all, let's install Git, right? So you can type git download. You can go here and you can download Git according to, like if you are using Windows, you can go here and you can download for your 64-bit Windows setup. Okay, so it will be a simple download. You can do next and it will get downloaded. Okay, so once you download Git, go to any terminal. Like let's say I'm going to this terminal, and you type git hyphen version. Okay, so I can see my version here. If you can't see any the version, Git version in the terminal, that means you have an issue with the download. So recheck it, what's the issue. And you can always use Google, right? So Google is available always in any kind of issue, so you can check Google and you can solve the issue. So if the version is visible, that means you have successfully downloaded Git. Okay. So the first thing when you download Git is the first thing you do is you can configure your Git, right? You have to configure your Git. So how to configure for yourself? Like, we can use the command git config dash dash global. First you have to set the username. Okay, so user dot name, and I'm setting Sahil Agrawal. Okay, so this has set the username as Sahil Agrawal for me, and let's say you have to also set the email. So git config global user dot email, and I've set this to this email. Okay, so to confirm if this was set correctly, we can once we can we can do this. And okay, so this is getting me the email that I've registered. Also this you can do with the name, and it will show you this. Okay, so this means you have successfully configured your Git. Okay, so after this, let's say how to create a Git repository. Okay, so first let us make a directory. Okay, so you will use mkdir to making for mkdir command is for making a directory. So let's say we name it as git demo. So we have made a directory git demo, so we'll go inside git demo. Okay, so now let's say we have to initialize this repository as a git repository, right? So the command for that is git init. So yeah, you can see that it says initialize empty git repository in git demo slash git. Okay, so now the git demo is my git repository. Okay, so what is a git repository? Git repository basically you can call it a project or any folder or any where you can use git commands to control. Okay, to control the commits, to control the history of that folder, to control all the changes in that folder. So let's say let's change something in this. Okay, so I'm starting my VS Code. So okay, so this is my git demo. So let's add a file. Okay, so let's add sum.python. So let's code something here like a equal to 5, b equal to 3, and then print the sum, right? Print a plus b. So yeah, so we'll save this. Now let's see how to track the changes we did to our git repository. Okay, so the basic command is git status. So from git status you can find what is the status of the current git repository. So it says that there are no commits yet. That means we have not committed anything yet. On branch master, okay, so the default branch that git gives us is master. So you can change the default branch also, but for now let's keep it master. So there are no commits, and the untracked files are sum.py. Okay, so it says that there is an untracked file because we have made a new file here. Okay, so let's say how to add this file so that my git tracks it. So command for that will be git add sum.py. So anyone is unmuted, so please. After this command, this means that git has added this sum.py. So let's see the status again. So now the status, okay, so git status. Okay, now you can see that changes to be committed. Okay, so earlier it was saying that this is an untracked file. So now this means we have tracked this file sum.py. So okay, yeah. So now this is the staging. This is in the staging area. Like there is one thing is there that we haven't added the file yet. Okay, so now this is become this is come in the staging status, and let's commit this file. Okay, so how do we commit this file? So git commit -m for message. Okay, so created sum.py. Okay, so this says one file changed and 3 insertions done. So these are the 3 insertions. So now let's say git status again. So what's the status now? Nothing to commit, working tree clean. So we have committed all the files that we have added. Okay, so there is also, let's clear this. So we can also use git git log to see the previous logs what we have committed. Okay, so this is author this and date this, and we have created sum.py. Remember we have committed just now that created sum.py. So you can see here that in the log we can see that there is a commit. Okay, uh, so yeah, so let's change something here. Okay, let's change that the sum is, so we have changed something here. Now let's say git status. So what it said that modified sum.py. Okay, so we have modified the sum.py. It again says that. So now let's add another file. Okay, let's say diff.py. Okay, so again we take a equal to 6, b equal to 4, and then we print a minus b, right? So now let's say now let's write git status. So now it says that we have modified this sum.py, and we have an untracked file also. Okay, that is diff.py. So this is untracked and this is modified. So this has to be added, and so let's add let's add diff.py. Okay, so git add diff.py. So now let's say git status. So these are the main commands that you will be using overall in your git journey. Okay, so these are the mainly commands you will be using, and so you can see now that there is a new file diff.py that we have added, and it is in the staging area, and we have not committed it yet, and this is modified and we have not added. So now to like you can use git add sum.py again, and we can also use git add dot. So what git add dot does is it adds every changes, like every changes that we done. So let's now check git status. So it says there is a new file and there is a modified file. So we have added both of them, and now we need to commit them, right? So yeah, so let's commit them. Git commit -m created diff and modified sum.py. Okay, so now these two files are also committed. So now you can check git status again, and there is nothing to commit. So you have committed all this. Okay, so let's see git log. Okay, so you can see the logs, like there are two commits. First we have created sum.py, and then we have modified sum.py and created diff another file. So this is basically like creating a git repository and adding them and committing them. Okay, so let's say how to merge this with like how to push this to GitHub. So let's say I go to my GitHub. Okay, so how to create a new repository in GitHub. So we'll see this overview where your this will be your profile overview. You can go here and see your repositories. You will be getting a like button here for creating a new repository. So you can create a public or a private repository. So you first will like now for now I'll be going for public. So let's name it also Git demo, and that description be demo of Git. So it's public, nothing to change. Yeah, so let's create this repository. So now this repository is created, and it's saying me to to add, create a new repository, or push an existing repository from command line. So we are having an existing repository, right? So we are going to push this from our command line. So what we have to do first, we have to add this remote, right? So let's add this remote. What is remote? There is local, now we were working on our local system. We were working with Git on our local, we did changes in the local, but remote is what we do on the internet. Okay, so now we can add our remote with this command. Let's say I go to this and clear. So currently I am in my master branch and I need to add my remote repository, right? So we paste this command git remote add origin. So yeah, so my now my remote is added to my git repository, right? So what is the next command? Git branch main. So this says git branch main, and we are now having our branch as master. So let's do this and see what happens. So okay, so this shifts my main branch to what, main. Okay, so this renames my branch, or let's say overlaps my master branch to main. Also let's do git branch. What do we get here? So there is only one branch. So what does this command do? This command rename basically my master branch to my main branch. Okay, so now what is the command? Git push -u origin main. So let's copy this and let's do this. Okay, so what will this command do? So you can say this pushes my whole repository to the main repository, like pushes to the remote. Once we refresh this, we can get so you can see this two files here, right? You can see the two commits here, what we have done earlier. Created some dot, this is created some dot py, first the commit, the first commit, and this created difference and modified some dot py, right? So these are the two commits. Now in GitHub you can see the changes we did, right? So again we can do any change and we can push it to GitHub. Let's do a change again, let's open our VS Code. Let's change here, right? The difference is, so we have changed this. Now let's see the status. Okay, so it says that we have modified difference.py, right? So how to commit this? We can do git add dot to add any changes. Like this is one change we did in diff.py. Let's change something in some.py also. So let's change this data. Okay, this 4 and this 3. So now let's say git status again. So what is it? So these two files are modified, right? The diff.py and some.py also. So instead of adding both of them differently, so you can use git add dot. So it adds all the changes. You can again do git status. It says to be committed changes. To be committed means we have added these, and these are to be committed now. So you can do git commit -m updated files. That's it. So now this says two files change, two insertions. Now you can go to GitHub again and you can see that we'll be seeing those changes. Okay, so so we have now we have committed but not pushed, right? So earlier we have used this command git push, right? So we have now only committed but not pushed. So to push into GitHub, we will use git push. Now we can just use git push as we have already mentioned the origin main. So don't need to mention again. So after pushing this to GitHub, you can see we have got the changes here, right? Updated files. In some you can see the data changed, and also in the diff.py you can see we have changed, right? So basically these were the basic commands, right? You use to in Git and GitHub. So okay, so let's go to hackodex and see how we can contribute to different projects. So in this section you can see there are many projects. So first let's build some. Okay, so I will be using my different organization to be to contributing a basic issue. So let's create a repository here, demo contribute, and let's make it public. Okay, so I'm having this repository here, demo contribute. So let's say I want to contribute to this repository. Okay, so what should I do? First okay, this is not available for fork. Okay, so this is empty, so we cannot fork this. So let's create something here.
Make that front end or back end anyone you can show like cloning it instead of creating any.
अच्छा ठीक है वैसे कर दो. Okay, so okay, so let's say I want to contribute to ARC backend. Okay, so let's first thing we have to do is not cloning but forking this to our own, like we are making a copy of this. Like if we fork to my account, so now you can see this that there is a IRC backend created in Agarwal file. Like in my this is a copy in my account, right? So this is a fork from ARC Pune. So now this is a copy, and let's say I want to change something. Okay, so how do I do this? Now I want to clone this. Let's copy this and let's go to terminal. So okay, so now what I have to do is first thing git clone. So clone this repository. Okay, so after cloning you can do code dot to open this in VS Code. So now this is the big project, right? So there are many folders, there are many files. So what to do? Let's say you are contributing on a small issue. So go to that issue. Let's say here we don't have any issue yet, but let's say for now let's change the readme file. Okay, so you'll be not contributing in the readme file, but for the sake of showing now, let's contribute to the.
You should open the folder of the project. I think you have opened it there. You didn't open the
yeah. Sorry. I opened the whole. So first we have to do cd, right? Cd arc. Okay. So now you have to do code doc. So now we have opened the project ARC backend. So let's go to the readme file. There are many things written on it. So let's change something. Okay, so let's just change here. Let's say my first contribution. Okay, so let's save this, right? So now you can get status here. You can see that you have modified the readme file, right? So now you will first you will push to your own copy of the repository. So you will do you will first add the changes. You will do git add dot. Okay, then you will what you will commit git commit -m. Let's say changed readme. Cool. So we have committed this, and then we have to push this to our repository. Okay, so git push origin. So now we are in branch staging. Okay, so let's push this to staging only. So staging. So this has pushed my code to the staging branch of my repository. Okay, so you can go in GitHub and you can refresh this. So you can now see that this shows that this branch is one commit ahead of ARC Pune. So now this is your copy repository, right? You have copied this from ARC backend. So this commit is one commit ahead. So let's say you have to contribute to this repository. So what you will do? You'll go ahead to contribute, and you can see there's this is open pull request, right? So you can open pull request now from here. So you can see this is able to merge. This shows so this means that there are no conflicts, right? So you can see the changes you have done. So these are the this is the main change we have done. So these are the earlier changes. Okay, so this is the change you have done. So you can create a pull request from here. So you can also leave a comment here like I changed the readme of the project. Okay, so you have wrote this comment and then you have created a pull request. Okay, so this has created a pull request, and we are now in ARC backend, right? So in ARC backend I can see that there is a pull request named changed readme. So this is mainly for the mentors. So you can see that there are some checks going on. Okay, so this will check if there is any conflicts or not. So in the files change section, you can see that there are many that there are some codes that have been changed. Okay, so you can see what are the changes. You can see the okay. So this says that this branch has no conflicts with the base branch. So as it has no conflicts, we can merge this. Also you can review the changes here. You can also like for the sake of comment, you can approve this. Okay, you can approve. Pull request cannot be approved. Acha, acha. Okay, so I have also only created this pull request, so I cannot approve this, right? So if any other owner of this repository, like there's Magic Kishore, so he can approve this and then he can uh, merge. So I think I can merge here for now. Yeah. So writing change readme merge pull request from style staging, right? So confirm merge. Okay, so now this pull request that I have created is merged into the staging of this ARC backend. So by this we have successfully like contributed to open source, you can say. Okay, so this is was a basic commit, but you have the idea, right? Like how you can contribute. So this was the basic idea how you can contribute. Any questions on this? Anyone having any questions on this?
So first fork and then made the changes, right? After
Yeah, yeah.
forking that code.
First fork it into your repository. Okay, like make a copy, and then from there you can first clone it into your local system. Then make the changes, whatever changes you need to do, and after that, first add and then commit and then push. Okay,
Got it.
so uh, so after that, after pushing, like how I showed you, you see that there is a commit ahead, right? And then you can create a pull request.
All right. All right. Thanks.
Yeah. Any more questions, please? So let's go to the site again and see what are the projects.
Somebody, Bhaiya, if two people made same changes in the file, what will happen? It will be merged or
Yeah, yeah. So if at the same time, like let's say I'm changing this, let's go to the code. Yeah. So if at the same time, let's say I'm changing this comment to my first contribution, and someone else is changing also this in the same line. Someone else is changing, and there are two pull requests for the same changes. So then there will be a conflict. Like what are conflicts? So there are merge conflicts, which says that something can. Okay, so let's show you once. There was a conflict lately. So in the ARC front end, there was a pull request. Okay, so yeah, in the file change, you can see. Okay, just a minute. You can see it's showing that this branch has conflicts that must be resolved. So why these conflicts happen? Because someone is changing something. Someone is two people are trying to change in same files. Like two people are trying to put different codes in the same files and in the same place. So there is always a merge conflict. You can see here. So this two are the, like these are the same places someone is trying to edit, right? And this is not yet merged, and this is not yet merged. So there are two commits for the same place. So then this will create a merge conflict. So you have to resolve it, like you can delete someone's commit and you can delete someone's code, and then you can merge, because the same codes can't be merged, right? So that is merge conflict. And also at the time of working in large projects, first thing you should do is pull the repository again. Like let's say you are working on it since 2 days, and there must be some more changes in that project, right? So before pushing your code, make sure you like pull the code. What is pull? uh, okay, you will understand what is pull. Like you are pulling the code, you are updating your code to the local system. If you pull the code from the okay, let's give you a demo. mm, let's close this. Okay, so cd git demo. Okay, so we are now in Git demo. Let's do Git status. This branch is up to date with origin main, like you can see. So now let's change something here. Okay, let's add a readme file here. Okay, so commit new file. So now we have added a readme file here. So now you can see here there is no readme file, right, in the local. So how you can like pull like you can get the changes that has been done in remote into your local. So you'll use git pull. What git pull does is pulls the local code into your pulls the remote code into your local system. So you can now see that there is a readme file in your local as well. So what this git pull did is it pulled the code, the changes you have done in your remote, right? Are you able to follow? Any more doubts in this?
Yeah, it is same as cloning or some difference.
uh, Initially, like when you are initially getting the local repository of your remote one, you need to clone, like you need to clone it to your local. But when you are trying to update your local project with the, like when you are trying to sync your project, then you need to pull. For any changes you need to pull, and for initially you need to clone the repository. Okay. So did you guys understand how to like basically how to make a basic Git repository, and how to commit and how to push that to GitHub? How to create a GitHub repository, and how to clone that, and how to do changes and push the changes in GitHub? Any doubts in that? Anyone, any doubts? So I showed you how you can do the basic commits, right? You can do the changes. So also one thing, when you try to like contribute to open source, so what should you do? Like you should always create your own branch. Okay, so what are branches? Branches are like different versions of the same repository. So now you can see that we are in main branch, so we can create a branch. What is the command for that? It is git branch, let's say dev. Okay, so now we have created a branch dev. You can do git you can for checking out to dev, you can do git checkout dev. So now we have checked out to our dev branch. So so when you have created this git branch dev, it makes a different branch and copies the code of the main branch, right? So now we are in branch dev, and uh, let's change something here. Let's create another file like product.py. Are you able to take this much, like branching, or let's keep it for tomorrow? Anyone can speak, please. Yeah. Hello. Okay, so we'll be doing branching tomorrow. Okay, so first let's let's work on this much. Okay, let's revise this and let's work on the commands on with ourselves, right? And then if you are having any doubt, you can ping us in the Discord, and you can ask there, right? And there will be another session tomorrow when we'll be working on different Git commands and more about Git and how to do branching. Okay, more stuff. So if anyone have any doubt for now, you can ask. How many of you are there now? I can see 13. So no one has any doubt? Also, there's a Git cheat sheet. Okay, you can search in web and you can get this. Also, I can share this in Discord server. So with this, you can get every commands used in Git. Okay, so you can see this is quite like you will find like you will find this overwhelming. There are many things here, but go one step by one. Okay, so you can see here the basic commands like git init for initializing a Git repository, git clone, git config, git add, git commit. Okay, so these are the basic commands, and then there are many things with Git, so you can find all them there. Okay, so if you don't have any doubt, we are done for today. We'll be having another session tomorrow. Okay, thank you all.